Today we're going to learn how to make Falernum. 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 You gotta learn how to make your Falernum, baby. Falernum. Make some Falernum today. Falernum. Falernum. First and foremost, what is Falernum? Falernum is a sweet liqueur, often flavored with clove, lime, ginger, and almond. I'm sure there's lots of house recipes that may change things up a bit, but those seem to be the recurring ingredients I see in the various recipes. The most popular brand that I've come across is John D. Taylor's Velvet Falernum. These are by the guys who do Foursquare in Barbados. It's a very spicy, citrusy kind of character. It's used as a sweetener in a variety of different cocktail recipes. Sky's the limit with what you can do with this thing. But this is the only brand, like I mentioned, this John D. Taylor's, that I've ever seen in Alabama or really anywhere else. So I was thinking, you know what, it's time to be able to make my own liqueur because the bottle's hard to find as it is, and this will save me some money, and it'll be just a fun project. So I'm doing a recipe from a blog, a guy named Kaiser Penguin, I think. This seemed to be the most legit and referenced recipe I could find on this. Hopefully it's good, because I've never made it. We're gonna find out together though. I'm gonna post the results of the final product, make a drink with it, and then we'll see if this recipe is up to snuff. So let's go ahead and get started on it. The first thing we're gonna do is zest. So you see I've got my little bar zester. I'm gonna zest 8 limes. I'll do some fast forwarding so you don't have to see me do this whole fucking lame ass process, but this is the start of it. It's worth mentioning that as you're zesting these limes, we just want the outside part. We don't want the white pith. That's actually kind of bitter. All the good juiciness that we think of as lime aroma and flavor, it's actually the outside here. So yeah, avoid the white pith. Don't dig too deep on these. So that's all done. I'm gonna save these limes to juice them for some fucking mojitos probably later. And there we have it. There's the limes. Next up, I'm gonna do a 1/2 cup of chopped ginger. So if you've never fucked with ginger before, I like to use a spoon to get the skin off. Comes right off, as you can see. So you just kind of peel it off, and then I'm gonna chop it up. And like I said, this recipe calls for a 1/2 cup of this freshly chopped ginger. So that's next. All right, so I've peeled the ginger now. I'm just gonna chop it up. And the recipe calls for about a 1/2 cup of chopped ginger. All right, so let's see if this is actually a 1/2 cup. I hope so, because peeling ginger skins is a pain in the fucking ass. Come on, baby. That's good, that's good. Okay, so we've got our ginger, now we pour it into our container. So after we put the ginger in, now we're gonna add the rum, which this calls for 8 ounces. I'm using Ray & Nephew Overproof. I'm sure you could do some other substitutions, but this is what the recipe from Kaiser Penguin recommends. So 8 ounces of this. This is strong as fuck, man. You can set this on fire like by sneezing on it. Really intense Jamaican pot still rum. All right, there's 8 ounces. I think it's got a great smell actually, but it's like fire. All right. So now that we've added the rum to our chopped up ginger and our lime zest, we're gonna go to the stove and toast some allspice berries, nutmeg, and cloves, and probably the almonds too, maybe. Yeah, probably the almonds too. Give it all a good toast, let it cool, and then we're gonna put it in here and let it sit for 24 hours. So the recipe calls for 50 cloves, a 1/4 cup of chopped almonds, 1 whole nutmeg, and a tablespoon of allspice berries. And you're supposed to toast it very briefly on the stove, which I'm about to do. This is on medium heat. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those in and start toasting them. Also, whole nutmeg is going in. And then we need a tablespoon of allspice berries, 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, 3 teaspoons. So you want to be careful not to burn these things. The recipe says toast until aromatic. All right, I think that's good. So I'm gonna take it off the heat, let it chill for 1 second, and now I'm just gonna combine all this into my jar with the rum, the ginger, and the lime zest. So this is all submerged now, so I'm gonna let this sit for 24 hours. I'm gonna agitate it throughout that time period. But yeah, we're just gonna let it sit now and marinate. And then we'll be back tomorrow to finish off the process. Right now we've already gone through the heavy solid straining phase, and now we're putting it through a coffee filter to get rid of all of the particulate, or at least as much as we possibly can. Here we're gonna take 1 cup of filtered water and 2 cups, turn on the heat to high, 2 cups, which I've already weighed out, of turbinado sugar. So we're making a rich, simple syrup with turbinado. And basically I'm just gonna let this heat up until the sugar dissolves, which is gonna take a minute. But that's fine. Our rich, simple syrup is ready. It's still pretty damn hot, but I'm gonna transfer it into the jar to hopefully speed up the cooling process. And then all that's left is combining our 2 liquids, the infusion and the rich turbinado simple syrup. So here we have the rich turbinado simple syrup right here. It's cooled down a bit. I put it in the freezer, but I just wanted it to where it wasn't scalding hot. This is the infusion that's already been coffee filtered, which it smells pretty dang intense. So I suspect when you mix it with the syrup, it'll calm down a little bit, at least in theory. After this is stirred and cooled down, I believe we have homemade falernum. Will it be any good? That's the real question, and we're about to find that out. Okay, so now the real challenge is, how does it taste in the cocktail recipe? So I'm gonna do 2 corn and oils, identical, except house falernum versus commercial falernum. Now I'm gonna do a bit of cinema magic and go grab some ice. All right, so let's do it. Mixing tins. This is 3 dashes of Angostura bitters each. Half an ounce of our falernum. This one is the house falernum. Two ounces. I'm going ahead with the rum because I want to rinse out my jigger. 2 ounces of rum. Now half an ounce of commercial falernum into the other side. 2 ounces of rum. All right. So these are identical except for the falernum. Let's add some ice. Now we're gonna give them both a stir. Wipe that off. All right. Corn and oil number 1. Corn and oil number 2. Oh, ice cube's too big. Don't do that, baby. Come on, give it a spin. Give it a spin. Okay. All right, so looking at them, this is a little bit lighter, which you would expect, but not a ton because of all the color these guys are contributing. But I can tell a little bit of a color difference, but it's very minimal. All right, smell. I get more rum out of this, more of the character of the rum, and I get more of the character of the Falernum out of this. Both smell good. Both smell good. All right, first I'm gonna try the commercial brand. I mean, it's good. It's good. Tastes like a good corn and oil. It really does. Good corn and oil, actually. I like that a lot. Now let's try homemade. Okay, so one thing I noticed right away. This has got more sweetness, more richness overall. It's more substantial of a drink, without a doubt. I mean, but it's different. The sweetness level kind of changes the drinks pretty dramatically. Yeah, more about the rum, more about the bitters. And the Falernum just shines in this one. Oof, gosh, it's got such a great caramel character. This one really doesn't have that same level of caramel. This is like, wow, okay. Very different, both good. That being said, the price of making this versus the price of buying by the bottle, this is almost a third of the cost, except, you know, it takes the 24 hours to do it. Or in my case, 30 hours. Wow, very fascinating. I'm glad that I did this. I highly doubt that I'm gonna buy this anymore. I think I'm just gonna make my own Falernum from now on. The only thing I may change is, instead of doing a 2-to-1 rich turbinado syrup, I think I'll do it more like 1.5-to-1. So not just a simple straight, like regular simple syrup, but not quite a rich. So something in between is what I'm gonna do on the next batch, just to pull back the sweetness a little bit and hopefully show more of the spice and the ginger and the almond and all those characteristics. But that's a damn fine drink, god damn. The more I'm sipping them, the more I lean towards this. It's just at the expense of being richer. So, you know, could I have 5 of these? No, too rich. But 1, maybe 2, like, and I suspect as the ice dilutes and the drink kind of thins a bit, the sweetness will be less apparent, and I bet it'll be even more enjoyable. Yes, yes, this is cool. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time. This was cool as shit for me. Really weird filming style that is gonna take me a long time to edit, I suspect. Hopefully it doesn't turn out complete fucking shit. We'll see though. Cheers.